So the apples have come direct to the cidery in these crates. There are three main categories of apples. One is eating apples, like the ones you buy in the supermarket. The second one is cooking apples, like Bramleys, very acidic, extremely bitter. And then you have bittersweets. Bittersweets are grown specifically for cider making. You wouldn't eat the fresh fruit, and you wouldn't drink the fresh juice either. Now, when the apples arrive at the cidery, it's up for us then to start doing some hard work. And depending upon the type of apple, it'll affect how much tender love and care we need to provide to it. So the apples you saw being picked at Contrast were all done by hand. So typically they'd be absolutely pristine, and there'd be very little physical sorting that we'd have to do. However, the apples that I have here with me right now are from Rathdowney in County Laois, and these would all be bittersweets, therefore mechanically harvested. And what that involves is basically shaking the tree violently so all the apples fall on the ground, and then a device comes along with big rubber paddles which aspirates the apples up, and as a result of that you can get a great deal of damage, and you get all the windfalls that have fallen over the period of the growing season. And so a lot of work is required to actually work through these apples. And for example, you can find rots or you can find good ones. And so what we do when the apples arrive in the cidery, and what you'll see shortly, is the first thing we do is we wash them. Once we've washed them, we then go through a grading process. So basically every apple that we buy, we then visually, manually inspect. And you'll see as they go along this grading table, we've got anywhere between 2 to 4 people at any one time looking at all the apples that go through. As I say, when it's eating apples from Contrast's farm, that's a very quick exercise. When it's apples like these, it takes a lot longer. But once the apples have been graded and we've taken out those that are either damaged or rotten, and the ones that we don't like, they're milled, they go into a macerating tank. What happens in the macerating tank is basically that collects up to 3 to 4 tons of milled apple, which is called pomace. And you'll see it change from being a light green color through to a dark brown. And the dark brown is basically the fruit oxidizing, and it's there from which a lot of the fruit takes its own color. Once that macerating tank is full, it's then pumped directly into the press. Now the press is basically a modified wine press, and that reminds us that in fact making cider is very much like making wine. We're effectively pressing a fruit, extracting a fresh juice, and fermenting it. And so this press with a central membrane is filled with the apple. It then goes through approximately a 3-hour cycle where it will expand and contract, trying to draw out about 750 litres of juice for each ton of apple that's gone into it. And once that juice has been extracted, it gets pumped directly into a fermentation tank where we pitch the yeast, and the juice is then fermented, fermenting directly from being a fully sweet fresh juice to an entirely dry cider.